Good morning, Dan Houk here from the Santa Rosa Bayside campus, and we're in the series of Reset in January, really looking at how we can reset our lives to accomplish the things that God's called us to do. And it reminds me of a story in the Bible of Peter. He needed a reset in his life. Peter was really one of the core, the inner circle in Jesus' world. There was really three guys, but wherever Jesus was, Peter was going to be there. In fact, Jesus even renamed Peter. His original name was Simon, and Peter means the rock. Jesus called him the rock. And well, the last night of Jesus' life before he went to the cross, Peter really failed him. He lost it. He never thought he'd be there. In fact, he was so discouraged, he went back to fishing, which was his life before. And so we pick up in the story in Jesus' life when Jesus has come back from the dead and he sought Peter out on the banks of the lake. So let's pick up the conversation between Jesus and Peter in John 21, verse 17. The third time he said to him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him a third time, "Do you love me?" He said, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my sheep." So there's three things that really Jesus got Peter to reset in his life. The first thing is he got Peter to realize that he knows all things, that Jesus had been with him the whole time. Jesus knew he was going to fail him. Jesus knew he was going to come back, and Jesus knew what he was going to be doing in the future. The second thing is he got Peter to reset his heart. He asked Peter 3 times, "Do you love me?" There's a story about a guy who was married. He told his wife, "I love you," on their wedding day. And the honeymoon went by, months went by, years went by, and never did he say, "I love you" again. And finally, his wife said, "You haven't said I love you in our entire marriage." And he said, "I told you the day we married I love you, and if anything changes, I'll let you know." Well, we know the fact is we need to be told we're loved, and we actually have to express that we love somebody else. It changes something in our heart. So when Jesus asked Peter to say, "I love you," he was helping Peter to understand that Peter loved him, and he knew that. Sometimes we just need to stop and reset and say, "God, I love you." It might be in the midst of our worst day. Just stop and say, "I love you, God. I love you." We know he loves us. And the third reset we see in the scripture is that he got Peter to get back into serving. He said, "Feed my sheep." This is what Peter had been called to. This is what Peter was supposed to be doing. You know, we all have those areas of our life God's called us to. It might be a marriage, and maybe we've kind of got off track a little bit. We need to reinvest in those marriages. Maybe go to a marriage conference. I know Bayside has a marriage retreat that's coming up that you can sign up for. Maybe it's a relationship with your child and you just need to spend a little more time talking and getting to know them and rebuilding that relationship. Or maybe it's a relationship with a friend you need to get back into, or serving in the church. Maybe you've been out for a while and it's time to get back in, to get plugged in and serve. When we do those things, when we do those 3 resets, we can have a phenomenal year in 2020. Let me finish the story with Peter. Just a few weeks after that interchange between Jesus and Peter, Peter preached the boldest sermon he ever preached to launch the church. So let a reset with God be the catalyst to change your relationships, your ministry, and your future.